Welcome back to Fight News Now. Lots of mixed martial arts action coming up this weekend, including World Series of Fighting, who have a card from Colorado. It's going to feature lightweight champion Justin Gaethje defending his gold. And up next, we take a look at that World Series of Fighting event. The World Series of Fighting is headed back to the Bank of Colorado Arena this Saturday night when the promotion holds World Series of Fighting 29 from Greeley, Colorado. In the night's top feature, the 155-pound title will be on the line when red-hot undefeated champion Justin Gaethje looks to make it a perfect 16 straight wins when he tangles with recent lightweight tournament winner Brian Foster. Fighting out of the famed Grudge Training Center in nearby Denver, Colorado, Gaethje enters the contest coming off back-to-back Fight of the Year candidates with Luis Palomino in 2015. Known as the highlight for obvious reasons, the 27-year-old is a fan favorite anywhere he fights due to his wild and reckless style, which has yielded him 13 spectacular stoppage victories in 15 pro fights. Now defending his title for the fourth time since capturing it 2 years ago, Gaethje seems poised to capture the MMA world's attention if he can continue to deliver high-level performances. Looking to end the hype and snap the champion's undefeated streak is Oklahoma native Brian Foster. A veteran of the UFC, where he owns a notable submission win over the immortal Matt Brown, Foster enters the title fight fresh off winning the World Series of Fighting lightweight tournament back at World Series of Fighting 25. That night originally saw Foster being bounced from the tournament in the first round after a submission loss to Yao Zeffirino. Foster would, however, be given a second crack at glory when he re-entered the tournament, replacing an injured Mike Ricci in the semifinals. After successfully taking out former title challenger Luis Palomino in the semis, Foster would once again be matched up with Zeffirino in the tournament finals, only to change the ending of the story this time around.
Look at Foster carefully trying to pass the legs. The up kicks coming from Zeffirino. And look at that. Oh, it's a big one. That is a big one. Foster connects on the right.
Wait, the ref's got to call this.
That is all it. Foster shuts it down in Phoenix.
Unbelievable. That is what dreams are made of, gentlemen. That is why you do not give up. That is why when your phone rings, you take the call. You must be present to win.
The night of redemption is complete for Brian Foster.
The victory marked the 25th of his pro career, 24 of which have come by way of stoppage. Now 31 years old, Foster has been very vocal about winning a major title and finally has an opportunity to make those dreams a reality if he can get past an always dangerous Justin Gaethje. In the co-feature of the night, former UFC heavyweight Josh Copeland looks to get back into the win column when he takes on well-traveled Big Show veteran Mike 300 Hayes. Copeland, a former champion for the RFA organization, enters the fight coming off a loss to Bellator heavyweight king Vitaly Minakov last December in Russia. Prior to that, the Colorado resident had won 2 straight, including a big win over DJ Linderman to capture the Prize FC heavyweight crown. His opponent Hayes is also no stranger to the bright lights, having competed for Strikeforce, Bellator, KSW, and even Cage Warriors in his lengthy 30-plus fight career. Known for his durability and strength, Hayes has been finished just once in his professional career and has gone the distance in defeat against UFC veterans Andrei Arlovsky, Ruslan Magomedov, and Alexei Olenek, to name just a few. Also on the card, former Strikeforce veterans Corey Davella and Luis Taylor meet in a featured middleweight contest. Both men enter the fight on 4-fight win streaks as they look to reestablish themselves as potential threats to the middleweight crown. Back here with John Ramdeen, and there you had our preview for World Series of Fighting 29, which is going to be airing here on Fight Network late Saturday night after the Prestige FC card, which, of course, you and Robin getting top billing on this card on Saturday night.
It's going to be a lot of fun, actually. I know we get to get a break from the UFC. It's like, oh, thank God, because there's so many shows. Of course, we love it, but we get to see grassroots mixed martial arts, names that, maybe the casual fans have never heard of. We get to see Aiemann Zahabi compete, looking to extend his unbeaten streak. And then World Series of Fighting, Justin Gaethje, undefeated as well. In my opinion, one of the most exciting fighters in mixed martial arts. He's an athlete that's willing to take risks out there, and he is able to take a lot of punishment. But Brian Foster, also very, very exciting. UFC veteran, 25 wins, 12 submissions, 12 knockouts. This guy puts on a show, and he has a mission right now, and this is going to be an outstanding main event.
And Brian Foster is the survivor of the World Series of Fighting one-night tournament.
That was weird.
Involving 8 lightweights, where even Brian Foster didn't come out of that tournament unscathed, losing to Yao Zeffirino and then coming back and beating Zeffirino in the same night to win this tournament in order to get this title fight. So if ever you needed an argument for one night, 8-man tournaments to be done away with, that was probably the most convincing argument.
However, I have to disagree with you because it just was outstanding how everything played out. Foster getting submitted right away by Renzo Gracie, black belt as well, and then coming back, because the opponent couldn't continue. You get that fight in the finals, and you get a stoppage victory. And I think maybe the UFC doesn't need something like this, but the World Series of Fighting is still trying to find their way. And I think if they can do whatever they have to try to bring in the hardcore fans by doing tournaments, by bringing in, picking up some of the free agents. They just picked up John Howard. So I think this is what they need to do. We talked before about them trying to get Aljamain Sterling. The goal is try to appeal to the hardcore fans. It's just they're trying to find their way in a very crowded landscape.
I think that's the key with World Series of Fighting, is finding that identity. Of course, the UFC is the UFC. Bellator, whether you are a fan of it or not, they've established that identity, and they've also found an audience for their style of matchmaking, for their big tentpole events. World Series of Fighting is kind of just existing at this point where they do have a lot of quality fighters. Justin Gaethje, to me, is somebody that is absolutely world class at 155 pounds, and I think it's just finding interest of where the balance is in terms of having great fighters, having those personalities that make it a card you really want to tune in to see. And Justin Gaethje, I think this is one guy that people are very much aware of, and it's a destination point on Saturday.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people out there say maybe they should go back and look at the old model of the UFC. We know the UFC, they have 20-plus shows a year right now, way more than that. But if you look, before the UFC exploded, they would have a show every number of months, and I think that's kind of what the World Series of Fighting should be doing, because they have a lot of great talent. They have interesting stories. They have Husamar Palhares. They have Jake Shields, Yushin Okami. They have John Fitch. I think that those are names that people know. You need those names attached to every one of your shows to bring in that hardcore audience.
All right, it's going down late Saturday night here on Fight Network, and then it will replay on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It's World Series of Fighting 29, headlined by Justin Gaethje and Brian Foster for the Lightweight Championship.
I'm the champ for a reason. I will knock you out.
Oh, he's down!
He's down. This one is over.
He is not leaving with that belt. It's my time.
Brian Foster just rocked LaRue Burley.
Gaethje, Foster. It's gonna be a thriller. World Series of Fighting presents WSOF 29.